ISAE 4.2 Systemic Framework Analysis plus 4.3 Processing Experiences. So, we have all of this experience in Venezuelan democracy. We have this non-violent method, and we have all of these adversaries that the government has. How should the government play the power he still has in order to maintain power? So in this essay we will take a look of the particular framework, the particular set of mind that the government has, taking into consideration that this is not a human right about the state. This is not people which are working for the people, but this is rulers that they are working for themselves, and their sole purpose is to keep the power. We have measures and countermeasures, as this novel, The Hunger Games, says, which is kind of a political essay. So we have the measures of the democratic forces, the non-violent struggle, which has in 2007 and 2010 several achievements. We are getting now until 2013. How should the government avoid the non-violent struggle to success? One of the main theses of the non-violent struggle is that regardless of the military training, regardless of the set of mind, the people who carry a gun are still human people. And if they keep any sense of responsibility, and they have been told to shoot an unarmed civilian, perhaps many of them will shoot, but there will be a time in which the individual, the human being carrying a gun, which get the order to shoot, he themselves, by their own conscience, will refrain himself of shooting, of killing, and therefore the military force of a totalitarian state will fall if their own military have been taken by his own conscience against his own military state. This happened in Moscow in 1991 when the counter-socialist coup take the military forces, and the military refrained themselves from shooting. This happened in Berlin in 1989 when the German of the Democratic Republic refrained themselves from shooting the people which were going against the wall. I mean, there is some historical reference of it. So what happened? What should do Venezuelan government besides of the strong ideology of their military, which everybody did, of course, besides of the right set of conflict, which everybody did? I mean, what should do the Venezuelan government to refrain their own military to fall into the trap of the non-violent struggle? what happened in Venezuela is that they empower the criminals. They put a special party militia, and they look for the, euphemistically, the social disabled, but actually they were looking for true gangsters and true criminals, and they put themselves as their own private militia. First we have the militia. So how should they keep the military for letting their militia for doing the dirty work? They let the military to go to business. They put the military into all sorts of civil administration things, and they let their own military to get into the power, so the military commanders were not commanding troops, they were commanding the economy. So they have a lot to lose on a hypothetical shift of power. So they keep the military occupied in business. They put criminals dressed as military on their militia. Even in 2014 there were a lot of reports of Cuban military dressed as Venezuelan military. We have this prison crisis. There is a lot of speculation and conspiracy theory about what happened lately on the prisons, in which they have a lot of even strong, hardcore weaponry, not only handguns. They even have grenades and bazookas and military fusiles. There is a lot of conspiracy about arsenals kept onto prisons in a scenario of foreign military intervention. There is a lot of military expense. They even talk about putting anti-aircraft onto communities. They have this particular military weapon base set of mind. We can look at now the 2014 La Salida, on which we are talking in other essay, how they repress strongly, even with several dead people, and how did they avoid for how they avoid the military carrying the guns, for this existentialistic reflection by taking military. So what happened after this? We have the elections of the last 2 months, in which their own armed criminals were way out of range. They had to suppress themselves, the military. They spent the whole 2015 trying to regain their own weaponry on the prisons. We have even several manifestations of the people on the prisons with the guns shooting at air. But the economic crisis went way beyond all of their countermeasures, and the Polish vote were all against them. So, see, we have work to do, but this is some of the analysis that they have done. This is most of the processing experience that they have done. This is most of their set of mind which, well, they have their consequences, but yet the democratic forces, we are still working for a change. Thank you very much.